And then a storming backstretch from Angel Patterson of William Penn.
And the crowd rose to its feet. The U.S. versus Jamaica at the Penn Relays. And after giving seemingly everything down the backstretch, Angel Patterson struggles to hold off Sophia Smelly of St. Jagos, using all of her strength just to stay on her feet. She crosses the finish line first.
And although fierce rivals here in Philadelphia, both William Penn and Gratz celebrate. Finally, an American high school team has beaten the Jamaicans. Jamaica had won 9 of the 11 previous girls 4x400 high school championships at the Penn Relays. The crowd chanting USA, USA enjoyed the moment. Friday's cold, rainy weather didn't stop the LSU Lady Tigers as they ran to a new Penn Relays meet record in the 4x100 relay.
The team is so important to us this year. This year we're focused on winning our 10th national championship, and that means so much to us. So these relays like this really help. It brings us together. We have to work as a group, and we kind of focus on what we need to do at nationals. So this is a big meet in our schedule, and we always look forward to coming here.
The college men's distance medley. Greg Houghton, the leader of the George Mason team.
Mason the favorite in this strange concoction of an event. The leadoff leg runs 3 laps, 1,200 meters. The second man, 400 meters. The third leg, 800 meters. And the anchor leg, 1,600 meters, a little short of a mile. The windy conditions meant there would be no record, but Odden's last lap sprint put George Mason in the lead.
Greg Houghton, who won the bronze medal at last year's 400 meters at the World Championships in Sweden, had a comfortable lead.
45 seconds on his leg, and he hands off to fellow Jamaican, Alex Morgan. Morgan, the confident front runner, handed off to Julius Aitchen of Uganda, who under the windy conditions ran a very strong 3:58.9 closing leg. The first championship of America in the distance medley for George Mason, making Coach John Cook a happy man.
George Mason celebrating its victory in the distance medley, and for more distance running, let's go upstairs where Dwight and Craig are standing by.
All right, Gus, just moments ago, the women's Olympic development 1,500 meters was won by Julie Henner, formerly of James Madison, and she ran a phenomenal time, 4:06.82. She'll be somebody to look for in the trials in June. Time now for the men's Olympic development 1,500 meters. And here are the records. Sidney Marie, the American record holder, and Adam Dixon holds the Penn Relays meet record. And this is how they will line up. As you can see, Mark Daly, Mark Davis, also Martin Kano in the middle of the screen there, son of Kip Kano, the Olympic champion at 1,500 meters from the 1968 Olympics. It's a very large crowd. We'll try to keep them straight for you as the race develops. 3 3/4 laps here at Franklin Field.
And after that strong performance in the women's 1,500 meters by Julie Henner, you have to think that there are a lot of guys in this race that think this is a good day for a fast time. And you saw that meet record time by Adam Dixon, 1984. I remember I didn't run that year, Dwight. All these guys ran times that they never replicated anywhere else. And I've strongly suspected ever since they started at the wrong starting line. But still is the meet record.
Well, we've seen that happen at that meet in Norway every year, where guys run incredible times that they're never able to duplicate either.
Well, right, but when they run a mile, which is 4 laps around the track, it's kind of hard to start at the wrong place.
Providing the track is the correct distance all the way around, which is always up to debate in Norway. Joe Warrick, the rabbit of this 1,500 meters, and I think you're right. When they see a woman ran 4:06.8, they may think the wind is not that big a factor. It's a nice day. The weather is probably actually ideal temperature-wise for these runners. There's Martin Kano, number 5 there in the center of the screen.
To his left, Rich Kana, former NCAA champion at 800 meters, known more as an 800-meter runner. He was 4th in the U.S. championships a year ago. And the pacemaker doing his job as he went through in 58 seconds at the 400-meter distance. The problem is with the wind out there, they need to be right up on his back. And really the reason to run a race like this is to try to get a fast time. Victories at this point of the year are not all that important. And these guys should be right on his back as they come to 2 laps to go, trying to keep the pace moving, trying to see what sort of shape they're in to tailor their fitness as they head towards the Olympic trials. And you saw when you have a big group like that running a bit too slowly, Dwight, easy to get legs tangled.
Nobody wants to do the work as Martin Kano now moves clearly into second behind Joe Warrick. A lot of these athletes going for the automatic qualifier for the Olympic trials of 3:39.90. Starting to run out of time if they don't have those automatic or provisional qualifying times.
How'd you like to be Martin Kano, a Kenyan who lives and trains in the United States, works out in Portland for Nike? He's got to try to make the Kenyan Olympic team, and he'd prefer to do it in the steeplechase, but Kenya is so good in the steeple that he has decided that he'd rather try to make it in the 1,500 meters, and he's already run 3:39 this year.
And Kano pushing the pace now as they come down to 1 lap remaining. Kano with a nice, comfortable lead. Carl Piranha, a junior at nearby Haverford College, 96 NCAA Division III indoor champion, currently in second.
You see them fighting the wind as they come around this corner. Kano, an excellent move to take the lead and push the pace, even though a lot of the guys behind are full of run, including Kana, who's moved into second. It's hard to close down that distance. He may be fighting the wind, but they've got to fight it to catch him.
So a little more than 150 meters to go. It's Martin Kano, but Rich Kana making a nice move to eat up the distance. Kano's going to have to really work to hold on here. Kana has got the momentum as they come off the final turn. Kana passing Kano. Kano not giving chase. Tying up badly. It'll be Rich Kana winning the Olympic development 1,500 meters with Martin Kano second. And Kano really made a bold move there with about 1.5 laps to go and sort of paid the price with the wind all by himself, Craig.
Well, he did. There's no question about it. Kana a little bit lucky that Kano faded towards the end, but you got to give him credit. A great 800-meter runner, running a distance longer than he's used to running. He takes a look to see if Brad Sumner is going to be able to catch him. Sumner not quite close enough. Kana goes by, pays a little respect to Kano on the way by. And then excellent turnover as he comes up to the finish line. He's going to face a tough choice whether to run the 1,500 meters or the 800 meters at the Olympic trials.
And as Rich Kana celebrates, we see the official results. Kana, the winner of that Olympic development 1,500 meters, 3:41.41. Martin Kano holding on for second, and Carl Piranha in third. And we'll be back with more of our coverage of the Penn Relays 1996 edition right after this.
Were you my mom's best friend in school?
Yes, and now that we're best friends, I brought you a present. Look.
It's a phone number.
Friends and Family is offering everyone in America their own 800 number as our gift to you.
It lets special people in my life call me as often as they want without it costing them a penny.
Call now and get 100 free minutes.
I'm giving it to you because when I pick up the phone and you're there, it's like opening up a present.
Friends and Family. Real savings, real simple.
I've got one chance a season to make this course look beautiful. You burn your lawn, your neighbors see it. I burn this, millions see it. You want to take chances? Go ahead. Me, I use Scott's.
Turf Builder has Scott's mistake-proof granules. They feed when the grass needs it. No overfeeding or burning like ordinary fertilizers.
It's not like golf. You can't make it up on the next hole. You don't want to blow it? Use Scott's.
For a great lawn, guaranteed, use Scott's Turf Builder.
Ray and I set up shop here in the 60s. Man doesn't have a lazy bone in his body. Some time ago, his hands began bothering him. He'd take Tylenol or Advil and go about his business, but sometimes it got to be too much. So our doctor said to try Aleve.
This one you take every 8 to 12 hours.
Aleve is longer lasting than extra strength Tylenol. At the end of the day, it's stronger relief than a dose of Advil. It's all he takes. Ray's in every day except Sunday.
Gotta get my fishing in sometime.
Aleve. All day strong, all day long.
Natural ability can only take you so far. Equipment counts for a lot. I'm always checking out new ideas. You have to stay competitive. That's what I like about Pert Plus. Cleans and conditions in one step. No messing with 2 bottles. I get great results. No hassle, no fuss. Eventually, we all cross the finish. The winners just find a better way to get there.
Pert Plus, great hair, no fuss.
Monday, catch Dave in the kitchen with his mom, plus Chicago Hope's Peter Berg, and this week, Barbara Walters, Brooks and Dunn, Jeff Goldblum, James Carville, and John Malkovich.
Welcome back to the Penn Relays. Dwight Stones along with Craig Masback, and we have got a great one here, the 4x200 relay for college women. And the class of the field in lane 6 will be LSU. As we look at the records, Texas Southern has the collegiate record at 131.96, but very close behind that is the meet record here by LSU, 132.2. Lane 6, as I said, LSU, who has been so dominant here at the Penn Relays over the years. Already they've gone 1-2 in the 100 meters. This is Karen Boone, who will lead off that relay team for LSU. They've already won the 4x100 relay. And it's just another chance for the LSU women to shine. They really look forward to Penn Relays every single year as we look at how the lanes will lay out. Lane 1 will be open, LSU in 6.
Keep your eye on Central State out in lane 8. They had the fastest time coming into this competition, 132.86.
And there is DeAndre Hill. She'll be running the second leg for the Lady Tigers. She's already won the 100 meters in the collegiate women's in a meet record. She was supposed to anchor, but anywhere you put her, she is terrific for this sprint relay team.
You already mentioned Karen Boone, the leadoff. What a great meet for LSU thus far. Meet record in the 4x100 meter relay. And as you mentioned, 1-2 in the 100 meters. And Dwight, 2 laps entirely in lanes. Very tough to figure out who's ahead. Really, the handoffs are the best cue. And Boone is out very, very quickly for LSU. They're in white.
And we'll really get a chance to see how far in front LSU will be with this leg by DeAndre Hill as she makes the move in all white.
And look at her go by people. They call this woo corner because when the runners make a big pass, they say woo, but you know, she's not that effective at this point, Dwight. Is right outside of her, North Carolina, giving her everything she can handle.
Takesha Quick of North Carolina certainly not allowing DeAndre Hill to make much of any room on her. And now Astia Walker of LSU against Tiffany Weatherford of North Carolina.
Astia Walker, very tall runner. LSU been going with very safe handoffs thus far, and with this sort of lead, they should remain safe.
Zundra Fagan of LSU now with a comfortable lead. North Carolina in pursuit. But Fagan, a veteran sprinter on this LSU Lady Tiger team. And there is no question, aside from a drop baton, that LSU will cross the finish line first. And down there in lane 3, University of Texas comes in second. So North Carolina, their whole race in the front part of that relay. LSU dominating as we expected.
131.59. If that holds up, a new meet record, Dwight.
If that holds up, it would be a new American record. So the LSU Lady Tigers continuing to dominate.
And you can see that they didn't go wild with those handoffs. They just wanted to make sure they got the baton around the track. Obviously, the handoffs not as critical as they are in the 4x100 meters. DeAndre Hill out very quickly. I thought she ran an excellent turn. That's when we heard all the wooing going on. But after that, she didn't really pull away. Zundra Fagan with the big lead, took that lead and really extended it over the last 200 meters. LSU all dominant here. They just need to stay healthy until the NCAAs, and they'll have yet another strong performance there.
Zundra Fagan just waiting around to see if she and her LSU Lady Tigers have set a collegiate record in the 4x200, and it is official. LSU, a new collegiate and meet record, 131.60. University of Texas in second, North Carolina in third. We'll be back with more Penn Relays action after these messages and a word from your local station.
Tough athlete's foot, cure it the way doctors do, with the same unbeatable medicine they prescribe time and again. It's in prescription strength Desenex. Nothing cures athlete's foot better. Prescription strength Desonex with a doctor's cure.
All set?
You bet I am. Thanks to you.
A few weeks ago with Jesse, I noticed something. Dandruff. So I told him about Head & Shoulders. Regular shampoos just rinse flakes away. Head & Shoulders helps prevent flakes from even forming.
Because great hair can't have flakes.
He's worked almost 40 years. She's worked almost 40 years. And during that time, they've gone on walks together instead of cruises, and shared secrets together instead of champagne, just so that someday they could retire and be together all the time. At Cigna, we care about the retirement dreams of over 5 million people. After all, there are dreams too. Cigna, a business of caring.
The show goes riding, rowing, regatta style, and then ringside for a royal battle between Kennedy the King McKinney and John Lewis. It's all next Sunday on CBS.
This is CBS.
One car polish proved that it can take the heat. New Finish. How much punishment can just one application take? It all started with a weather-beaten car. First, New Finish restored a showroom shine with no rubbing, no buffing. Then we let the hood broil in the scorching desert sun for 20 days and baked it under highly reflective mirrors that intensified the sun's rays 6 times. Is the New Finish finished? No way. After 52 heavy-duty commercial car washes, water still beads. New Finish, the once-a-year car polish.
Available at Advance Auto, Winn-Dixie, Revco, Eckerd, Roses, Bilo, Western Auto, and Kmart.
Fred Cunningham tonight at 6 and 11 on News Channel 7.
The flags here at Franklin Field have been flying at half-mast as the meet honors and also says goodbye to a longtime friend. Only 6 men have served as the director of the Penn Relays. One of those men, Kent Doherty. However, last week, Mr. Doherty passed away at the age of 90, and with his passing, not only the Penn Relays, but the entire sport of track and field lost a true ally. From the 1930s to the 1950s, Ken Doherty was a highly respected coach at the University of Michigan and the University of Pennsylvania. He also wrote the definitive book of coaching in the track and field world. But it was as the longtime director of the Penn Relays where he made his lasting contribution to the sport. Ken Doherty passed away last week at the age of 90. And throughout his years as the director, Ken Doherty witnessed some of the great moments here at the Penn Relays. And for fans and supporters of this meet, it goes without saying that the tradition of this meet is steeped in perseverance and history. Over 100 years ago, the University of Pennsylvania sponsored a relay meet in hopes of reviving interest in Penn track. Franklin Field has hosted the event every year, even though in 1895 the only grandstand was a wooden single-tiered bleacher. The event drew over 5,000 spectators. By 1903, a permanent grandstand had been erected, and the festival atmosphere of the meet led to the word carnival being officially adopted. One of the early additions to the carnival occurred in 1913. It marked the first time the baton and exchange zone were implemented. In 1925, the Carnival Medal was introduced. Designed by a Penn professor, it shows Benjamin Franklin greeting a relay team. The following year, the unique shuttle hurdles was also added. Part hurdles, part relay, it's become one of the signature events of the meet. In 1961, the meet made its network debut. It was not only a first for the Carnival, but also ABC. It was the debut of Wide World of Sports. In '62, women competed here for the first time. Willie White won the 100-yard dash. And through the years, the participants have been the stories. 4 years before he achieved Olympic glory, Jim Thorpe tied for the 1908 high jump title. In 1924, Eric Little, one of the principal characters in Chariots of Fire, lost the 200-meter dash. Charlie Paddock won the 175-yard dash in '28, the only year it was held. Pavo Nurme, who's credited with forever changing the face of distance running, made his mark in the 2- and 3-mile races. And Jesse Owens warmed up for the 36 Olympics by winning the 100-yard dash and long jump here at Penn. Herb McKinley helped establish the great Jamaican tradition at Franklin Field. And the great Roger Bannister shattered the 4-minute barrier in 1954. 3 years earlier, he won the Ben Franklin Mile. 79, Ronaldo Nehemiah staged one of the greatest comebacks in history, coming from 25 meters behind to win the 4x400-meter relay. And Carl Lewis from nearby Willingboro, New Jersey, has turned Franklin Field into his own personal playground. And also a part of the history of this meet, our own Dwight Stones, who in 1977, he set the record for the high jump here at the Penn Relays. And Dwight, your record's so unbreakable that they took the event out of the Penn Relays. How about that?
Well, Gus, this is where the high jumpers would be jumping if I hadn't actually had them remove the event from the schedule at my request so I could retain the record. On the track, the men's collegiate 4x800-meter relay. Records in the event. Santa Monica Track Club holds the American record, and Penn State, the Penn Relays meet record. And Craig, I think the class of this particular race has got to be George Mason University. They'll be starting out of lane 1.
They've already won the distance medley relay, returned several guys from that team to this. But watch out for Illinois. Great anchorman from the Netherlands, Marco Koers, for them. And I would like to point out in your defense, you still do hold the stadium record in the high jump. You set 2 world records here at Franklin Field.
This should be a great race, especially with all the wind that is now swirling inside Franklin Field. Whoever ends up taking the lead in this race will be doing an awful lot of work breaking the wind for the rest of the athletes.
But when you have a large group like this, the last thing you want to do is get too far behind. So it's a tough choice. If you don't go out quickly, get towards the lead, you could be stuck behind. If you go out too quickly, as you say, you end up being the one fighting the wind. And you can see no one really wants to be the one in the lead.
Expected to be the class of this field, George Mason University. It's already won the distance medley relay early in the Penn Relays. Many of those same athletes that ran on that relay team are running here in the 4x800. Starting off with Miklos Arpasi of Hungary running for George Mason.
Another strong team, University College Dublin. Their team F, you see them on the yellow tops on the inside, running in 2nd or 3rd place right now. Arpasi in the green top of George Mason, looking to move outside, and there he goes, Dwight, looking for some running room. He realizes if you're stuck on the inside in this 2nd lap, you could get into big trouble.
It's such a dilemma for these athletes, whether they have to try and do the work that it takes to break the wind or get caught in a box or in a pack where you can get injured or spiked or worse, even falling down and dropping the baton. As Arpasi now says, well, I think I'd rather just go ahead and take the lead. As we have such strength after me, I just need to get the baton off to Alex Morgan, who will run the 2nd leg for George Mason.
Washington State in 2nd right now. That was a very canny move by Arpasi, who's never run the Penn Relays before, and yet will give George Mason a commanding lead. Alex Morgan takes it, and he ran the 800-meter leg on their victorious distance medley relay.
And as Alex Morgan stretches out the lead for George Mason on the 2nd leg, we'll take a little time out here. We'll be back with the rest of this race as we return to the 1996 Penn Relays. Stay tuned.
As soon as that ball is tossed up, the emotions are high. You're hot. It's pressure. It all just builds up.
We asked some of the hottest coaches in the game to switch antiperspirant and try Degree.
Body heat activated.
As your body heat rises, Degree releases extra protection when you need it most.
In the heat of the moment, Degree was there for me.
That certainly worked for me. That just keeps you dry.
You have to meet the press. You want to be protected because they're all right up on top.
Body heat activated Degree for an extra degree of protection.
This is not for funsies. It's for keeps.
When you manage a restaurant all day, you need the strongest hold you can get. That's why I switched adhesives.
It'll hold stronger, longer, or your money back guaranteed.
Oh, that's good. Now I can sip hot soup at lunch and still make it to dinner to greet my favorite customers.
Fix-It-Dent will hold stronger, longer than any other adhesive or your money back.
It's a long, hard day, but I love every minute of it.
For a stronger, longer hold or your money back, Fix-It-Dent and forget it. Guaranteed.
Hey, where's the kids?
It's just you and me tonight.
And chicken marsala.
Your favorite.
Oh, but it gave me heartburn last time.
Not tonight.
But it's too late for Pepcid AC. The package says you've got to take it an hour before eating to prevent heartburn.
I know.
Why should I have to wait an hour to eat?
Forget that hour stuff. I got you Tangabit HB. It says it prevents heartburn in half the time.
So I can take it now and not get heartburn?
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Tagamet HB, advanced prevention of heartburn in half the time.
If you want relief from minor arthritis pain, turn up the heat on arthritis. Just minutes after applying ultra-strength Bengay, you can actually see the heat. It's the strongest, most advanced Bengay ever, with the heating power of 3 pain relievers. So turn up the heat on arthritis.
Tough athlete's foot, cure it the way doctors do. With the same unbeatable medicine they prescribe time and again. It's in prescription strength Desenex. Nothing cures athlete's foot better. Prescription strength Desenex with the doctor's cure.
Welcome back to the Penn Relays. We're in the middle of the men's collegiate 4x800 meter relay. That's Alex Morgan of George Mason University with a comfortable lead as he comes in at the end of his second leg.
Went out aggressively in the first lap, the first 400 meters, and he's held on well. Wasn't that impressive in the distance medley, Dwight. He's really broken this race open for George Mason. 1:46.6 on his relay carry. Outstanding running for Alex Morgan, who normally anchors that team, but he's now broken the race open for George Mason.
Ibrahim Aden of George Mason now on the third leg carry. He was part also of that distance medley relay that was victorious for George Mason University earlier in these Penn Relays.
Aden more of a 1,500 meter runner. His brother Jama Aden came to the United States about a decade ago, and more than a decade ago, ran for Fairleigh Dickinson University, also a 1,500 meter runner, ran in the Olympics.
And Aden out there all by himself with about a 25 meter lead. The wind has dissipated considerably since the start of this race and isn't having as much trouble bucking that wind. Team's bunching up behind him, but truly a commanding lead for an athlete who is dominant in these types of relay carry situations. Coach John Cook at George Mason University doing such a great job at assembling these foreign athletes into a cohesive unit that does very, very well at these relay events.
And they won the indoor NCAA team title, Dwight, and are one of the favorites for the outdoor team title. So it is a strong unit all the way around.
Aden now stretching his lead out to about 35 meters and shows no signs of slowing down whatsoever.
It's tough to lead, though, especially as you mentioned with the wind blowing from time to time. When you have a big lead like this, getting the most out of yourself isn't always easy. Sometimes you just want to sit on the lead, let the others catch up a little bit, save something, and try to sprint at the end.
And Aden will hand off to Julius Achen with a gigantic lead. University of Illinois in second place, and of course they have a great runner in Marco Kors, but he has a lot of distance to make up.
Look at that, it's got to be 40, 45 meters at this point. Achen, the indoor NCAA champion at the mile, world junior champion in the 1,500 meters. Kors, by the way, though, ran a great anchor leg in the distance medley for Illinois, the fastest of all the anchor splits, 3:57.9. And he is a world-class 800-meter runner. And by the way, Dwight, he's going out very quickly here. He's starting to cut the distance on Achen.
That distance now down to about 10 meters. Started out, as you said, Craig, about 40 or 45 meters. There's a lap to go, and Marco Kors has caught Julius Achen in the 4x800 meter relay.
49.8 for Marco Kors on the first lap. Now we know why he's caught up. I think Achen went out a little bit slowly, but Kors just went out so quickly, and he's not going to be able to hold on, Dwight. That's just too fast in these conditions.
Achen ran 3:58.9 to anchor the George Mason distance medley relay. You've got to think that he's got more in him, but Kors dogging him right behind him, and Julius Achen now picking up the pace.
Well, you wonder if Achen was just playing cat and mouse there, thinking he could sit on the lead. But I tell you, Kors still has a good step. His stride is efficient. He's hanging in there.
About 60 meters to go. Julius Aitchen of George Mason University trying to hold off Marco Kors of the University of Illinois. And Aitchen picks up the pace. Kors succumbing to the early 49-8 400-meter split. A valiant effort by Kors, and a championship run once again by Julius Aitchen for George Mason University. But what a great and valiant attempt by Kors of Illinois.
A United Nations team for George Mason. Arpashi from Hungary, Morgan from Jamaica, Aden from Somalia, and Aitchen from Uganda.
And Craig, unofficially, Marco Kors split 1:44.8.
Marco Kors, though, one of the great anchor legs in Penn Relays history. Look how far behind he is, Dwight. You estimated 40-45 meters. He made up a lot of that within the first 300 meters. We're seeing him here come into the home stretch. And by a lap to go, he was right there. And he looked easy doing it. So, kind of performance that doesn't take Illinois to victory, but somebody you better watch for the Summer Olympic Games. Came around that turn. You were right to point out that Aitchen was going to make that sort of spurt, was going to try to dispirit Marco Kors, and that's really what happens. A very short straightaway. If Kors just could have been there for the last 50 meters, he might have had a chance. Aitchen smart enough to inject a little speed and then get away.
A really intelligent relay anchor by Julius Aitchen, bringing his George Mason team home to victory, holding off the late charge by Illinois, and the results of that men's 4x800 meter relay. A truly exciting race on that last leg. George Mason University, after winning the distance medley relay earlier in the Penn Relays, wins here 7:14.54. Illinois, an outstanding time, and Georgia Tech in third. And Gus Johnson is down on the infield with the victorious George Mason coach.
And joining me now, John Cook, the head coach of George Mason. Kind of close there at the end, Coach.
Too exciting. We really wanted to get away and didn't want it to be that exciting.
Now tell me, your anchor, Aitchen, was he kind of playing a little cat and mouse at the end with the All-American?
I think he had enough left to know what he was doing. He wasn't going to get caught.
So George Mason adds the 4x800 to go along with their distance medley, and later on they'll have an opportunity to compete for the 4x400 title. Coming up shortly, the boys high school 4x400 meter championship, and one of the rising young stars, Obi Moore out of California. He's not only looking forward to doing well here, but also in Atlanta coming up in June.
This is how Michael Johnson, the world champion at 400 meters, gets to work. And this is how Obi Moore, one of Johnson's likely opponents at this June's Olympic trials, travels to track meets on a school bus.
These those Olympic hopefuls right here. You know, Michael Johnson wear those. That's right.
On your mark.
The 17-year-old Moore is bidding to make the U.S. Olympic team in men's track and field as a high school junior. If nothing else, Moore may be the next great American runner in the 400.
Really the best ever. It's really like I don't run fast. It's like I'm cruising. And like when you see me run, it doesn't look like I'm running fast, but I always end up with the fastest times.
Obi, whose name means lots of heart in an African dialect, earned the right to compete at the Olympic trials when he ran a 45.14 in winning the Pan American Games Junior 400-meter title last September. For 3 years, Obi has dominated high school track, setting national age group records every step of the way. Even as a 2-year-old, Obi set an unofficial mark of sorts.
I don't remember where we were going, but we was on the train. And my mom said we're going to have to rush to the train. She said, you're going to have to run.
He just took off. And he was really running. I mean, seriously running. His little short legs was flying. It was hard for me to keep up with him. At that point, I said, this kid can run.
Still, there are experienced hands in the track world who find it hard to believe that a high school junior will be able to survive 4 rounds at the Olympic trials in one of America's strongest events.
You may have to run your personal best 4 times in a row. And do you have that much cushion in your fitness level? Are you mature enough to handle that? A lot of times, physically, they may be able to, but mentally, can you get up and up?
But for now, Obi is the pride of Pasadena's John Muir High, which boasts Jackie Robinson and college basketball star Jacques Vaughn among its alumni. In class, even his history teacher sports an Obi Moore t-shirt.
I know a lot of the kids love to be a part of this. This is history, not only for Muir, but it's history for his family. It's history for all of us.
At home, Obi spends his precious free time reading the Bible, but thoughts of racing the likes of Michael Johnson at the trials are never far away.
I'm not scared. For me to run with them, I must be a star too. So it's just going to be a race full of stars. And I guess the highest star will win.
Brave talk for a teenager who still doesn't have his driver's license.
I'm still a kid, you know, going into manhood. But hopefully I'll be there soon.
How soon? At the Olympic trials in Atlanta, it may take Obi Moore only 44 seconds to become a man.
So coming up next, Obi Moore and the boys' high school 4x400 meter relay championship.
Hey, if you take your Pontiac Sunfire to China, they probably won't let you go tearing around on that big wall they've got, which is too bad, because the sports suspension would really be great on those curves. Or try that one-latch, easy-opening top on your all-new Pontiac Sunfire convertible and go cruising around some ancient pyramids. Because, hey, they're both cool new ways to worship the sun. The Pontiac Sunfire Coupe and the all-new convertible. Finally, a real set of wheels you can really afford.
Be sure to get your shot with a Canon Sure Shot, like the Sure Shot A1, the rugged, all-weather sports camera.
One of these hammers is jacketed in high-impact polycarbonate. The other one is broken. The fiberglass jacketed hammer from Stanley.
I don't need some fancy cologne to tell me I'm a man. I use Skin Bracer. It smells great, but it also cools and tones my skin. Confidence is very sexy, don't you think?
Original and cooling blue.
By Menon.
Once upon a time, three girls went to Rocksteady for a pickup game.
Yo! We got next.
Lisa is the center of U.S. women's basketball team. Cheryl's a forward. Dawn is a point guard.
Shoot that, Cheryl. Take the jumper, Lisa. We'll take it. Good game. Good game. Next. Yeah, Cheryl. That's the next one. I got you. He can't shoot either.
And this isn't a fairy tale, so they didn't beat every guy. But they beat enough to say, basketball is basketball, athletes are athletes.
Great moments from the PGA Tour continue on CBS. The next stop, Forest Oaks Country Club in North Carolina for the Greater Greensboro Chrysler Classic. Next on CBS.
Welcome back to the 1996 Penn Relays. Dwight Stones, Craig Masback, and Gus Johnson bringing you the action. Up now, the boys 4x400 meter relay championship. Hawthorne of California High School, the national record holder at 307.40, and Veer Tech of Jamaica, the meet record. And you will be looking at Obi Moore, the junior from Muir High School in Pasadena, the phenom. Qualified for the Olympic trials, 400 meters, won the Pan American Junior Championships last year in 45.14. But he and his Muir comrades will get plenty of competition in this boys 4x400 relay from any one of a number of Jamaican teams. And we're looking at St. Jago's High School from Jamaica, one of the many schools that journey north to Franklin Field each spring to showcase their talent in front of the Philadelphia crowd. The serene island of Jamaica, home of traditional values, and a land where youngsters dream of a future. A future that many hope will include furthering their education.
They have a very difficult and hard life coming up. And running in the Penn Relays is like their window of opportunity.
A lot of these kids
that come here, this is how they get a scholarship. You know, by performing well at the Penn Relays, so the American coach can see the talent that is there. America is a land of opportunity, right? And there are lots of good colleges up here. So each time we go out there to run, we try to run at our best so that coaches all around can know who is Omar Bailey.
A scholarship to an American university is a way Omar Bailey hopes to become a household name like the first great Jamaican runner, Herb McKinley, and follow in the collegiate footsteps of USC's Lennox Miller and Inez Turner of Southwest Texas State. For these Jamaican athletes, the Penn Relays are a true showcase event.
Winning here is like, it's the biggest thing for me, right? You know, we go back home and everyone say that, you know, praise you, you're the champion of America.
The whole island, believe it or not, they're very competitive, each parish. But when they come back with a title from the Penn Relays, all of them celebrate it.
And with a strong performance at the Penn Relays, what better way to celebrate than a childhood dream coming true?
Dwight, you know how important this meet is. There's a weekly Jamaican newspaper in North America called the Weekly Gleaner. They devoted a 12-page insert to the Penn Relays.
What a great opportunity it is for the athletes from that small island to come up here and showcase their athletes and perhaps get scholarships to major universities. But as we now look at the lane assignments for this 4x400 championship, high school boys 4x400 relay, John Muir out of lane 6, St. Jago of Jamaica in lane 2. We expect a lot of the racing to be there, but any one of these Jamaican teams can be in it. Probably the least amount of Jamaican teams in the final here at Penn Relays, as Jamaica high schools have won 10 of the last 11 championships.
And you mentioned St. Jago in lane 2. Omar Bailey, who we saw in that little feature, will be the anchor leg for them. Jamaica College had a faster time in the qualifying rounds this morning. All of these teams had to qualify for this final by running this morning. Muir replaced their second man, their normal second man, Sultan McCullough, because he's been nursing a sore hamstring this morning with his brother, but Sultan is back to run the second leg this afternoon.
Of course, in that kind of situation, you worry about Sultan perhaps pulling the hamstring and never getting the stick to Obi Moore. And they are off.
And Obi Moore has got to be a big story, Dwight, throughout the whole race. What's he going to do? If he gets it ahead, can he run a fast time? If he gets it behind, can he do something spectacular? This is the guy who said he's going to run 43 seconds flat and win the Atlanta Olympics, beating Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson said coolly in response, it's going to take more than 43 seconds to win.
And John Muir out to a very fast start on this first leg to Corey Tryon, a junior from Muir, simply decimating the rest of the athletes in this field. Have to see if he can hold on to hand off the baton to Sultan McCullough, the athlete from Muir who is nursing that sore leg.
Muir has run 3:08.75 this year. This morning they ran 3:13 to qualify for the final. Obviously not going all out, just looking for that qualifying time. 48.2 on the leadoff leg for Tryon.
And Sultan McCullough not sporting any type of a wrap on the leg, so perhaps just a precautionary situation having him not run this morning, but the gap has certainly closed. Muir does not have nearly the lead that they once did, being closely pursued by Jamaica College and Richard Smith. Sultan McCullough must be nursing a little bit of soreness there, as we now see Glenn Mills of Pennsylvania going into the lead. Oh, and a bad exchange for Glenn Mills High School. Muir retains the lead. Makio Haywood, who's a sub-14-second hurdler, running the third leg from Muir.
And you know, Muir's been running all sorts of high school relays this year out in California. Lots of experience with some great indoor runs. So that experience definitely helping. And Haywood opening up a gap now.
This is a scene they don't normally see here at the Penn Relays at American High School. Dominating as boys and girls high now gets into second place. An excellent carry by Marlon Baugh, but it's Makio Haywood of Muir who holds on to about a 7 or 8 meter lead as he hands off the baton to Obi Moore.
Well, it's the Obi Moore show. I guess we probably would have liked to see him get it behind so we could really see what he's going to do. But look at this guy run, Dwight. Amazing running down the backstretch, and the crowd appreciates it.
This Penn Relays crowd has been waiting all day for this anchor leg by Obi Moore.
Cool conditions, not ideal for outstanding times, but he's just leaving the high school runners in his wake.
And Obi Moore will win easily for John Muir High School. They don't even run a best time of the year for themselves, but what an impressive run by Obi Moore.
46.02 I had unofficially, obviously on a anchor leg split.
And he's barely breathing. And for only the second time in 12 years, an American high school has won the Penn Relays Boys 4x400 meter relay championship of America.
Coach Clyde Turner from Muir dealing with the fact that they've had some injuries. A long season for them as they had a number of great indoor runs as well. But a lot of big days yet to come with the California State meet and the Olympic trials.
Greg, let's look back at that second leg. Sultan McCullough of Muir being absorbed by the rest of the field.
Well, he didn't run this morning due to an injured hamstring. Hangs on well until the home stretch when the other guys get by him, Dwight. But he makes up for it as he and Makio Haywood, the third man, execute a good handoff. The other teams do not, and they're able to retake the lead just on the handoff.
Haywood runs a great third leg and hands the baton off to Obi Moore.
And Moore out so quickly, doesn't sit on this lead. He goes for it all. And in the home stretch, struggles a little bit, but hangs on for an impressive victory for Muir.
The victorious Muir High School 4x400 relay team. As I said, only the second time in 12 years that an American team has won this race. And are they getting appreciation from this crowd? However, we don't see the Jamaica flags flying.
I give that about an 8 on the Woo scale.
Craig, I think the Woo needle was in the red on that race. John Muir of California, 3:11.02. St. Jago holds on for second, and Jamaica College up for third. When we return, we'll hear from Obi Moore and his teammates right after this.
I love you. Oh, I love you too.
You see this flower?
Yeah.
Well, with the Cub Cadet tractors I sell, you'd never see something like this left standing. Now,
It's a certain kind of person who's a Cub Cadet dealer.
You just lower the front of the mower deck about 1/4 inch, and you'll suction everything up into this.
Who will help you pick the right equipment, then assemble, deliver, and maintain it.
Talk about the space shuttle, but does it have a direct drive shaft? Honey? Honey?
Coming CBS next Sunday, he is a multimillionaire and his son is a murderer. It was all her fault. Now go behind the gilded gates.
It was an accident.
It was murder. And discover just how money talks.
Crime without consequence. The privilege of the very rich.
And killers walk.
How do you plead?
I am not guilty.
Constant is a star, and he's innocent.
Brian Dennehy heads an all-star cast in the explosive miniseries Dominic Dunn's A Season in Purgatory.
You're on CBS.
At Brian Eastler Toyota in Hendersonville, we hear our competition say they have their best price on every vehicle in stock. Well, you and I both know it takes more than price to make an intelligent decision. Not only will we give you our best price on any new car or truck, but we promise to give you the highest trade-in value. So, give us the opportunity to show you how much your trade-in is really worth and make an intelligent decision like your friends and neighbors have. Buy from Brian Eastler Toyota, Hendersonville.
Beneath your home lies another home, the home of millions of hungry subterranean termites, with hundreds of tunnels stretching thousands of yards. There's nothing termites won't do to ultimately eat you out of house and home. That was until Centricon, the first ever colony elimination system that monitors and baits to get termites where they live. Just call this number and get their home.
Nobody bugs bugs like Terminix.
Jim Kirkpatrick tonight at 6 and 11 on News Channel 7.
And welcome back, standing here with the Muir High School 4x400 boys relay team and their captain, Obi Moore. And Obi, you guys, for the second time in 12 tries, meeting the United States, won this race. How important is it to Muir High School?
Very important, you know, another notch on our belt. We felt real good about the race, but we expected to run faster, but we didn't, so just have to wait till next time.
And when you came down the backstretch, how exhilarating was it to hear the fans here at the Penn Relays getting up, chanting the United States and calling out your name?
Well, the crowd gave me a lot of energy. You know, I appreciate the crowd. You know, that's what we're here for, to represent the crowd in United States, so we appreciate it.
Talking to some of your teammates now, and tell me, what was it like running here at the Penn Relays? It must have been a great experience for you.
Yeah, it was a good experience running against the Jamaicans, you know, and all. And we came down here, the crowd expected us, you know, to do and run a good time. You know, but it was a good experience running against the Jamaicans as we won in, like, what, 15 years, United States. So it was a pretty good, you know, experience for us.
And talk about, young man, how important it was to beat the Jamaicans today.
It was important to me because I'm like kind of like I came from off of injury just to run. So I try to get everything I got. But I'm saying I just try to win for my team, help my team out.
Well, going back to Obi, and for you coming up in Atlanta during June, the Olympic trials, you're 17 years old, get an opportunity to run against Michael Johnson and some of the best runners in the nation. How do you feel about that as it approaches?
I feel I do well if God's willing. You know, if I keep